Historically, marginalized people in our society have been underrepresented in our media. Women, though they make up about half of our population, have nowhere near that much representation. It's even lower for women of color. According to the Women's Media Center, there is a crisis of representation in the media. We live in a racially and ethnically diverse nation that is 51% female, but the news media itself remains staggeringly limited to a single demographic. Being that media is how a large number of us consume information about our immediate surroundings and even the rest of the world, when such a large group of people are being left out, we're only getting half the picture. The Women's Media Center has stated that the media is the single most powerful tool at our disposal. It has the power to educate, affect social change, and determine the political policies and elections that shape our lives. With mainstream media now televising more and more shows containing more people of color in lead roles and more women in leading roles, we even have seen a slight increase in leading roles for women of color. The television show Empire, following an African American family through their struggles within the music industry, is a prime example of this new phenomenon. But, like all new things, there is a good and bad side. So, the question remains, do shows like Empire reinforce or resist stereotypes of women of color in mainstream media, or does it do both? Research was done by Dr. Martha M. Lawson, with statistics like females accounted for only 42% of all speaking characters and 41% of major characters. Female characters were most likely to appear on reality programs. Females comprised 44% of all characters on reality program, 42% on situation comedies, and 40% on dramas. 79% of those women characters were white, 12% were African American, 5% were Latina, 2% were Asian, and 2% were of some other race or ethnicity. It becomes clear that women of color are rare in leading roles that are not situational or stereotypical. Cookie, played by Taraji P. Henson, is the leading actress in Empire. She is portrayed as powerful and ruthless at times. At other times, she is emotional and loud. Normally, the powerful and ruthless characteristics are saved for the male characters because they are identified by many as masculine traits, and of course, being loud and emotional are feminine traits usually reserved for women of color. In this instance, her character both rejects and accepts stereotypes of women. Another major stereotype in the show is the hypersexualization of women that are more for looks and beauty than anything else. A study done at the University of Buffalo in Western New York found that the portrayal of women in popular media over the last several decades has become increasingly sexualized, even pornified. The same is not true of the portrayal of men. Though Cookie herself dresses more conservatively and flashy at times, other female characters wear much less clothing. Tiana, for example, does not have a big role in the show, but every time she's on camera, she is dancing, moving, or dressed provocatively, furthering the stereotype that women, especially women of color, are only meant to look good without much depth. Cookie, however, rejects this type of sexualization while maintaining her own level of conservative sex appeal. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, stereotype pertaining to women of color, particularly African American women, is the light skin versus dark skin debate. With lighter skin tones like Taraji P. Henson usually get the leading roles, and darker skinned women the roles of assistants. Note that the two dark skinned women on the show Empire are both assistants. In Oprah's documentary titled Dark Girls, definitions of beauty are explored, but the opening in a Huffington Post article sums it up perfectly. It says, "In many parts of the world, people are judged not just by their skin color, but also by their skin tone. The devaluing of dark-skinned women, which is discussed in the documentary Dark Girls, is something that hits close to home for African-American actresses in Hollywood as well. Whether it be light-skinned versus dark-skinned, sexual versus sexy, or powerful versus emotional, the show Empire is both a proponent and opponent to racial stereotypes when it comes to women of color. The female characters and the show itself not only address stereotypes by proving them inaccurate, but also by perpetrating them. This may be to showcase exactly how our media works, or it could be just Hollywood being Hollywood."